My name is Amit, and I am an actor. Very privileged to be here with all you geniuses already, and with all geniuses to be. We are here to talk about outsider and insider. This is my favorite topic, because whenever I am selling a movie or being interviewed, everybody asks me, are you an insider or are you an outsider? I'm so scared of this terminology. Sometimes I feel when I'll go home, my dogs are going to come and ask me, are you an outsider or are you an insider? And I'm going to kick them. I'm going to say that I'm the master. I've never shared my personal story publicly on stage. I want to share a little bit of that with you guys today. So at the age of 16, I was washing utensils at somebody's house, in a very big house. I still remember my psyche. They had 18, then, and it's back in the day, 18 ACs, and I counted it. And I think at that time, Boyzone and Bryan Adams, used to kind of jive on them. So I was very good at singing, and they caught me singing an English song. And back in the day, the terminology knocker, उस समय outsider insider नहीं था, ये आज का phenomenon है. उस समय knocker थे. They were vexed in how a 16-year-old boy who's a knocker sweeping floors in our house can speak in English. And of course I was thrown out. When I walked out, there was a security guard guarding that big mansion and that 21, 22 ACs that they had. I asked him, ये क्या करते हैं आप? He said, मैं security guard है, दिल्ली में Colonel Securities है, वहाँ हमारा office है. So I walked, it's about 5-6 kilometers from Jorbagh, actually lesser, about 4 kilometers. And it was early morning, I waited for the owner, who was an ex-army guy, he comes in and I said, look, I need a job. Can I be a security guard? He said, you're 16. Anyways, I gave him a long spiel. I think I had a little bit of acting even then in me. I got the job. By next day, I was in a showroom in South Extension 1 in Delhi called Benetton. And I was a security guard there. So I would open doors with them, again talk in English or greet in Hindi, and people would not believe that I was pretty cute when I was young, by the way. It's really, really long. But, and people would not believe that I'm a security guard. And then the owners and the then security guard, the assistant manager there, Christopher, actually told customers, no, he is a security guard. 2 weeks into that, I was on the 4th floor of the same building, which is still there in Delhi, South Extension, Benetton, wanting to commit suicide. So I wanted to commit suicide. I was not happy. There were reasons. Nobody wants to commit suicide. Anybody wants to commit suicide here? I'm going to stop this right now. And while I was thinking about it, contemplating, I think the brainwave in me, questioning me, this is a back lane, there are a lot of wires, what if I get stuck, what if I fall and my limbs break and I get paraplegic, and then I just read about, when I was 12 I had read an amazing inspiring book of a girl who committed suicide, broke all her limbs and arms and became a legend. So all of a sudden she haunted me, no, I can't do this. A boy walks in who was Gaurav, I still remember his name, his father was in the army. He walks in with food. He said, hey, I want to share my lunch with you. And I'm perspiring, it's Delhi heat, contemplating how to suicide, not to suicide. The guy walks in, he says, I want to share my lunch with you. I said, okay, great, I have lunch with him. 3 weeks later, the assistant manager, Christopher and Gaurav, tell me, yeah, you speak so well. Where do you come from? I said, there's a lot that has happened in life, but I went to an amazing school. It's called Lamart near Lucknow. And they actually had a They went 2 steps back. He said, you're from Lamar Taylor now. How come you're here? I said, I don't know. I'm here. They said, पीछे वाली गली में एक दुकान है. It's called Jordache. There used to be a Jordache jeans back in the day. FUs, Jordache. I went there. There was Vicky Bhaiya. I said, Vicky Bhaiya. And I was in my guard. I didn't even lie. I went my lunch break from Benetton to Vicky Bhaiya. I said, Vicky Bhaiya, I need a job. I'm a security guard at Benetton. They are saying, मेरी English अच्छी है, मैं salesman बन सकता हूँ. Do you have a job? He said, I have a job of a helper. And let's see what you do. Now when you watch movies, they do. So now there's a lot that happened in between. From there. From some outside to some inside, some outside, some inside. I reached Bombay, where everyone who enters Bombay, even from Ahmedabad or from Goa, you got to pay octroi, and they still call you outsider. A lot happened. And then I came to Bombay, and every day that I stayed in Bombay, I heard people complaining, fighting, and really wasting time and energy on who's the outsider and who's the insider. Luckily, by now, I had had such an amazing journey and experience, I didn't give them any attention. I said, this is bullshit. This is a waste of time. Unfortunately, it did exist. This phenomena called outsider and insider. The reason I shared my story with you is, there's nothing called an outsider and insider. And if there is, according to me, this is my understanding, which I want to share with you today, is you are the insider and you are the outsider. The insider in you is somebody who is attempting to take a first step to anything that is an insider, which is you, who's already taken that step. That's my definition of outsider and insider. And then there are masterminds, and then there are people who just want to make us weak. As soon as you enter a realm of thought, of action, they want to defeat you. They don't want to think about your path. They want to think you're an outsider and diminish your purpose and your path. Luckily, I was a thick skin. Luckily, I had a different way of thinking. That happens when you spend 2 years on footpath in Delhi. And I consider that really, I've considered myself so fortunate. But I never felt an outsider anyway. When I was on footpath, I have another story. 3 days, there was a chola kulche wale ka, they sell chole kulche in Delhi, they're really big. And for 2 days, he gave me free food. The 4th day, I didn't go to him because I felt, dude, I don't have money. He might ask me money for those 2 days, or it's not nice. Okay, I'm going to stay hungry today. 6th day or the 7th day, one of the people who are kind of, on the streets, those vendors, they located me. They said that chole kulche wala is looking for you. Shit, he wants money. Anyways, next morning I met him. He was upset with me. He said, why didn't you come for the chola kulcha? I said, what do you mean? He said, from tomorrow morning I want you to have the first chola kulcha. Yaar, tu lucky hai yaar. I was an outsider to Delhi. I was an outsider to the footpath. I was an outsider to that guy. Was I? No. So, this is again very short. I'm writing a book actually on this. But it's called Nobody's Listening. Gets affected by the insider and the outsider question, or the phenomena that kind of hits us, is what space do you think is between an insider and an outsider? I thought about this in the morning because I thought while I'm talking to you, so this question came to me actually, just early morning in my flight. See, what is the space between an outsider and insider? Is it Bombay? Because I'm an actor. You will maybe go and do some engineering, or whatever course you're doing. What is the difference? What's the space? And it just stuck to me, it's just one step. So that means, I go back to saying what I said earlier, that the outsider in you is the insider ahead of you that you're chasing. Because in my career, in my life, I have never felt the need to entertain this thought. And if you speak, maybe if I can share a little bit of experience from my acting struggle. When I came to Bombay, I came with my share of hardships, my share of lack of IQ, because I was thrown out of school when I was in 11th grade. So 0 IQ or less IQ. On EQ, I was minus. There was no EQ in me. And then as years passed on, I realized, I was told by someone, you also lack in SQ. That is a spiritual question. So I realized, what do I do now? So when somebody told me this, I said, I'll be GQ. I'll go to GQ. I'll buy a GQ magazine and wear good clothes and look pretty and make people happy. And that's how acting started with me. I didn't know anything about acting. I had never watched a film. I had never read a book. I was just a young, angry guy. And I come to Bombay, and I start doing films. And I did my first film, Kai Poche. That's why Gujarat will always be so dear and so special for me. I spent 3 months in this beautiful city, Vadnagar, Ahmedabad, shot Kai Poche, which I'm sure most of you would have seen, and if not, I'm going back. Time's up anyways. And after that film, I started finding my groove. I started finding my insider and my outsider. My insider started fighting my outsider. My outsider started questioning my insider. I started getting better. Same people who said I lack on EQ said, wow, you should write a book on EQ. Oh, thanks. You said I'm an outsider, but... Same people who said that I lack on IQ, they say, yeah, you still lack on IQ. Doesn't matter. I found a way of life which has, I call it a dance of contradiction. It changes every day, every week. आज मैं कीटो पे हूँ, नहीं आज मैं कीटो पे नहीं हूँ, you know. But it's mine. I started sleeping at a certain time, which is an outsider to somebody else. That concept, that thought process, it's an outsider to somebody else. But my insider is sleeping at 10 o'clock because that's my comfort. Again, there's no judgment. I'm trying to attach this to a kind of a bigger understanding that they even told me that you don't party, you won't get films. So I would understand, why would a producer make a $10 million or say about 50 crore or 100 crore or a 40 crore film with somebody who's obnoxiously gone at 4 a.m. in the morning, because that guy's going to reach at 6 o'clock with eye bags. Why would he want that? I reach at 6 o'clock like this. You should want me, right? So they would say, no, you should party, you should network. I said, I don't understand what network means. If I like you, I'm going to call you, come to your house, have a meal and go. They said, no, you are an outsider, you have to work harder. Harder at what? Drinking more? Or partying more? Or being cool? I don't know, I thank my parents, I thank my star, I thank the million people in this country who watch me, tolerate my bad, pathetic acting. But I just carried on. I just want to pass this thought to you. There's nothing called outsider, insider. When we start thinking a thought, when we start dreaming a dream of any consequences, is the start. You are an outsider to that thought. And when you work hard, you walk that path, you talk that language, and you start achieving it, you start walking down that lane, you become an insider. I rest my case. Thank you very much for tolerating me.